India is vaccinating 57% less than the vaccine production in the country. 28 lakh doses produced, but only 12 to 13 lakh vaccines administered daily. States float tenders but with no luck. Punjab and Delhi say Pfizer and Moderna refuse to supply to states. Mumbai gets lucky with 3 bids from Sputnik. Assam and Bihar say global vaccine tenders are futile. On-site walk-in registration and vaccination allowed for the 18 to 44 age group at state-run COVID vaccination centres. The government says it is to minimize wastage. India crosses the grim milestone of 3 lakh COVID deaths. Cases fall by 24% in the last 2 weeks, but deaths rise by 13% across 20 states. Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah attend BJP RSS meet on the impact of COVID crisis on the image of the party and its fallout for the Uttar Pradesh elections next year, say sources. Delhi police at the Twitter India offices in Delhi and Gurgaon after BJP leader Sambit Patra's tweet was tagged as manipulated media. The police refused to identify the complainant. Cyclone Yas to make landfall on the 26th of May. It has intensified into a very severe cyclonic storm. May hit Orissa and Bengal on Wednesday morning. Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Rishika Barwa. Our top focus continues to remain the India COVID numbers. Cases in the last 24 hours have risen to 2,22,315. Cases are down compared to the last 24 hours by 7.7%. Deaths in the last 24 hours have crossed the 4,400 mark, up by 16%. Tests in the last 24 hours are over 19.28 lakh, down by 9.2%. Positivity rate in India is up a percentage point at 11.53%. Vaccinations continue to remain the big cause of concern. Over 9.42 lakh vaccines in 24 hours, only down by 14%. Now, India has crossed the grim milestone of 3 lakh deaths. Almost 1 in 3 deaths have occurred in the month of May 2021 alone. Once again, talking about just how severe the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic has been. Now, in the last 2 weeks, deaths have risen by 13%. They are rising very rapidly in 20 states and union territories in the country. In 9 of these 20 states, including Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Assam, deaths have risen by over 100%. In 11 other states, the increase in deaths is between 25 to 100%. However, in the worst hit state of Maharashtra, it's at 15%, while in Delhi and Uttar Pradesh, deaths are now contracting. But the big cause of concern continues to remain India's COVID-19 vaccination, down, remember, by 14% in the last 24 hours. Daily vaccinations in India are curiously 57% less than the daily production. Daily doses that are produced in India, according to what the government has said in the Kerala High Court, is over 28 lakhs. And according to the same government data, the daily jabs on an average is between 12 to 13 lakhs. Now, the big story that we're tracking for you tonight, states and union territories like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh and Delhi, even Mumbai, have put up tenders for over 155 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, but not one has been secured. Delhi and Punjab governments say that Pfizer and Moderna, for instance, have refused to supply to states. Here's a report.
On the 1st of May, the centre said state governments should go ahead and import COVID vaccines separately. Since then, states and union territories like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi and even Mumbai in Maharashtra have put up tenders for over 155 million doses. But this has largely been a non-starter. For one, states like Punjab and Delhi have been rejected by Moderna and Pfizer, who have reportedly told the governments they'll deal with the centre.
हमारी फाइजर से बात हुई, फाइजर वाले कहते हैं जी आपको नहीं देंगे, हम केंद्र सरकार से बात करेंगे. हमारी मॉडर्ना से बात हुई, मॉडर्ना वाले कहते हैं जी हम आपको नहीं देंगे, हम केंद्र सरकार से बात करेंगे.
चाहे फाइजर हो, मॉडर्ना हो, हम उन सबके साथ सेंटर लेवल से कोऑर्डिनेट करते हुए उनको दो तरीके से फैसिलिटेट कर रहे हैं। एक तो उनके रेगुलेटरी फैसिलिटेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ अप्रूवल्स, दूसरा प्रोक्योरमेंट रिलेटेड फैसिलिटेशन। और बोथ फाइजर एंड मॉडर्ना, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम देयर ऑर्डर बुक्स इज ऑलरेडी फुल, so it is depending on their surplus how much they can provide to India. They will come back to Government of India and will ensure and facilitate.
Several other states including Assam and other governed by the BJP or BJP allies are reluctant to do so.
I don't think these global tenders all are, I don't know whether it has any value beyond publicity, because when Government of India is not getting vaccine, where from other company will give you in global tender? I don't think that I am basically observing the situation. Other states are floating.
आप ग्लोबल टेंडर के बारे में थोड़ा और जानकारी ले लीजिए कि यदि किसी ने प्रयास किया है तो क्या परिणाम आए।
यानी कि आपको लगता है इसका कोई फायदा है?
मैं ये नहीं कर रहा, मैं कह रहा हूँ आप पता कीजिए यदि किसी ने प्रयास किया तो उसके परिणाम क्या है।
Of the over 155 million doses sought, Mumbai has made some headway, with Sputnik suppliers putting in 3 bids for 10 million doses. However, states like Uttar Pradesh, which wants to import 40 million doses, has had to extend the deadline.
Uttar Pradesh, which floated the global tender first on the 4th of May, has now been forced to revise the timings for the opening of the technical bits of the tender by 10 days to the 31st of May. The state has also revised tender conditions like the storage and transportation of the vaccines in a bid, sources say, to attract companies like Pfizer and Moderna.
Another badly hit state, Karnataka's deadline ends today.
Today is the last day for the global tender. Let us see what is the response. Depending on the response, we just reached out to the entire world.
While the government has set a target of vaccinating the adult population by the end of 2021, the current rate of vaccination shows the target can be achieved only by the end of 2023. With Maya Sharma, Alok Pandey, Manish Kumar, Ratnadeep Chaudhary and camera person Manu Nair, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
Now, the Government of India is allowing a walk-in registration for the 18 to 44 age group starting today. The government has said that people in the 18 to 44 age group who are without access to internet or smartphones can now walk in for help to register on the COVID digital platform and get appointments on the same day for a few beneficiaries. However, here's the rider. The centre has left the decision to allow walk-in vaccination and registration for the COVID-19 vaccine to individual states and union territories, saying that this decision can only be based on local context. Now, India's most populous state of Uttar Pradesh faces an enormous challenge of vaccinating its population against COVID in the shortest possible time. While the state was the first to go in for global tenders to procure vaccine doses independently, it's already been forced to extend the deadline by 10 days. Alok Pandey reports.
Uttar Pradesh has fully vaccinated 33 lakh people. That's just 1.8% of its 23 crore plus population. 3 weeks ago, UP was the first state to put out a global tender for 4 crore vaccine doses. But already, the state has extended its bid opening date by 10 days to the end of the month. The government has relaxed storage and transportation requirement from 2 to 8 degrees to ranges like -20 degrees, -70 degrees or even -80 degrees. Government sources say this has been done to facilitate bids from vaccine makers like Pfizer and Moderna. But it's not clear whether any bids have come in so far. The government has not said anything on record, but sources say they do expect some companies to bid now that tender requirements have been modified. UP's other big challenge, finding adequate vaccines to cover people in its vast rural areas and overcoming hesitancy. In the Barabanki district, less than 50 kilometers from capital Lucknow, just 1/3 of the targeted 1.2 lakh doses have been administered so far in May. And this visit by a health team to a village on Saturday resulted in chaos, with people reportedly jumping into a river to avoid getting vaccinated.
तो हम लोग 4 आदमी तो हम लोग गए थे लगवाने के लिए बैठे थे। उसके बाद बोले कि और 4-6 आदमी और इकट्ठा कर लें तो लगाएं। तब तक गांव में जब आए आदमी बुलाने के लिए तो डर के हमारे आदमी भागना शुरू कर दिया।
उसमें ज़्यादातर छोटे बच्चे थे। ये भी हो सकता है कि किसी ने कोई अन्य अफवाह उड़ा दी होगी जिस कारण से वो लोग उस नदी में चले गए थे। ये बात हम सबको माननी पड़ेगी कि इस समय कोविड से बचाव का इससे ज़्यादा सटीक तरीका, माध्यम या उपाय कोई भी नहीं है। तो मैं सभी से चाहूंगा कि किसी भी प्रकार के भ्रम से या भ्रांतियों से बचे।
In remote Sonbhadra in eastern UP, where only 1.2 lakh doses have been administered to about 90,000 people, police teams are now appealing to people to get vaccinated. With Adnan, Sarfaraz and Prabhat Kumar, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
Well, on to the big story. We're tracking from Tamil Nadu. The lockdown in Tamil Nadu has been extended and made stricter. New restrictions are in place and even vegetable and grocery shops have been shut. Sam Daniel with the full story.
Intense lockdown across Tamil Nadu for a week as the state is reporting over 35,000 cases every day for the last 4 days. This time even vegetable and grocery shops shut down. The government has arranged mobile vegetable outlets like this one. During the weekend, prices had skyrocketed due to panic buying.
Yesterday I will buy 1 kg tomato 65 rupees. Today I buy only 50 rupees.
This is very good system.
Extension of the lockdown has meant no income for construction laborers like Money. He and his friends from Kadalur district survived on the 500 rupees they would earn every day. Now they are without work or earning for the third week. Even as COVID numbers are soaring, Tamil Nadu opened vaccination for the 18 plus category with a stock of 12 lakh doses. IT professional Titus is among the first to get inoculated in this category. Priority will be given to vendors, industrial workers, teachers and shopkeepers.
It's up to each and every individual person to control the virus. So it's our duty to stop this third wave or fourth wave or whatever it is.
Many are critical of the ruling DMK for opening the floodgates of shopping and outstation travel over the weekend. The state government provides a relief of 4,000 rupees to the poor in May and June, and it hopes the present strict enforcement would pave way for rapid decline in cases. In Chennai with Shah Vijay, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
In Bengaluru, which has been badly hit by the second wave of COVID, special care centres are coming up exclusively for children. These centres are for children with families, also for children who've lost their parents to COVID or their caregivers are unwell. This is a free service for the young ones at an hour of need.
This young girl was alone in Bengaluru and struggling with COVID, with nobody to help her.
My uncle and auntie. I don't have a parent. I lost my mother and my father is not touch with me. When I got a COVID, my uncle also got a serious COVID. He did not get bed in Karnataka. They went to Tamil Nadu and they left me alone here. No one was there to look after me. When I came, I was having the breathless. I was having to breathe. I was getting difficult to breathe also. And no one was there to give me a food also.
Help arrived late one night in the form of the Dream India network, who picked her up and brought her to this free centre, which looks after COVID-positive children. She was cared for here and has now tested negative.
Actually, the second wave of the pandemic, suddenly there had been a lot of news coming on the social media with regard to children losing their parents, children not able to be taken care, and we decided to have two types of centers. One is CCC, children infected, and second one, children those who are affected.
Recently, when this pandemic came, we thought of making use of this retreat center for the purpose of the people who are suffering.
There are 5 such centres in the city, set up and operated by Dream India Network, with the support of the state government, hospitals and other NGOs. They comply with child protection and COVID care centre guidelines. The children who are still COVID positive receive medical attention at the centre itself.
About 22 children who turned negative, and there are still about 8 children who are positive. So the management is pretty simple. We supplement them with vitamin C and zinc. That's helping them boost their immunity. And if there's any symptoms, we try and manage the symptoms as and how it goes. The children are doing pretty good. The saturations are pretty normal. The vitals are
A helping hand for vulnerable children in Bengaluru city. With DM Kumar, Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV.
Now, the Delhi police was at the Twitter India offices in both Gurugram and Delhi earlier this evening. The police action is coming in at a time when the government has hit out at Twitter, remember, over Twitter tagging BJP's Sambit Patra's tweet as manipulated media. What we're learning, of course, from our sources in the Delhi police, they continue to maintain that they went to the Twitter office only to serve a notice to Twitter as a part of a routine process. This, they say, was necessitated as they wanted to ascertain who's the right person to serve the notice to, as replies by Twitter India MD have been ambiguous. Now, sources say that the government has issued a notice to social media giants Facebook, Twitter and Instagram over compliance to the new Media Ethics Code. Sources say no tech giant has complied with the new Media Ethics Code. The government, remember, had set May 26th as the deadline for compliance. Social media firms may become liable if they don't comply. The cyclonic storm Yas is likely to intensify into a very severe cyclonic storm as it makes landfall on the 26th of May. It would reach northwest Bay of Bengal near Orissa and West Bengal coast on the 26th of May early in the morning.
Cyclonic storm by 24th May.
Somewhere between Sagar Islands in Bengal and Paradip in Odisha, most likely at Balasore. That's where Cyclone Yas is expected to make landfall around noon on Wednesday. Wind speeds at landfall 155 to 165, gusting at 185 kilometers per hour.
सबसे पहले लोगों को सुरक्षित स्थान में ले जाने के लिए जो साइक्लोन शेल्टर्स में सब अरेंजमेंट होना चाहिए वो सब अरेंजमेंट कंप्लीट है। अलावा उसके क्योंकि कोविड का समय है, हर साइक्लोन शेल्टर में कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर और कोविड के हिसाब से जिस तरह की मेडिकल फैसिलिटीज, बेसिक मिनिमम फैसिलिटीज होना चाहिए, उसका भी सारा इंतजाम कर लिया गया है। विद इन द स्टेट वी हैव मेड एडिक्वेट प्रोविजन फॉर बैकअप सिलेंडर्स and also buffer stock.
In Kolkata, Mamata Banerjee virtually met Home Minister Amit Shah along with her Odisha and Andhra counterparts, who she said were being given more money as disaster management advance than Bengal.
And Bengal, they said 400 something crores. Then I told Amit Shah ji that why this discrimination? Mr. Home Minister said, ममता जी हम बाद में बात करेंगे, ये साइंटिफिक व्यू से होता है, साइंस से होता है। इसका बारे में मैंने कुछ नहीं बोला कि मेरे को पॉलिटिकल साइंस का बारे में थोड़ा ज्ञान है, लेकिन ये साइंस का बारे में तो नॉलेज कम है।
Around 10 lakh people are being evacuated from the East Midnapur district in Bengal as well as the low-lying Sundarbans areas. Kolkata, which bore the brunt of Cyclone Amphan last year, may this time have a lucky escape.
Kolkata narrow escape definitely, but our coastal districts of Purba Midnapur and South Chowbish Pargana will be affected.
The bandobast is falling in place, with NDRF, the military and the Coast Guard on full alert, not just to handle Cyclone Yas, but also its aftermath. In Kolkata, with Anirudh Tripathi, Monideepa Banerjee, NDTV.
Barge P305, which sank during Cyclone Tauktae, has left over 80 people dead. Remember, this happened 6 days ago. There are still many questions that remain unanswered. Purva Chitnis with the full story.
Divyanshu Yadav is 10. He has an 8-year-old brother
and a 6-year-old sister. He is here at JJ Hospital's morgue to give his DNA sample because authorities are trying to identify the body of Santosh Kumar Yadav, Divyanshu's father, who is believed to have died as barge P305 sunk because of Cyclone Tauktae last week. Santosh Kumar was an electrician on the barge and from Jaunpur, UP, the sole earner of his family.
बात किए थे कभी जहाज में पानी घुस रहा है, आगे बात होगा कि नहीं होगा, बचने कोई संभावना है नहीं, देखो भगवान बचाएगा क्या होता भी। आखिरी बात वही 16 तारीख को हुआ था शाम को।
Similarly, Palminder Singh Saini arrived at JJ Hospital to give a sample for a DNA test to identify his brother Pradeep Singh. 34-year-old from Punjab worked as a scrap folder rigger on the barge.
जिंदा इंसान दिया था आपको और आप हमें बॉडियां चेक करवा रहे हैं, ये मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है। जिम्मेदार एक कंपनी के डिसीजन मेकर, जो कंपनी के डिसीजन मेकर उनको जिम्मेदार समझता हूँ। जो उन्होंने अपनी जिम्मेदारी निभाई होती, उनको बोला होता कैप्टन को कि आप वापस लेके आओ, तो कोई नहीं लेके आता, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता था।
Early Monday morning, tug Varaprada was located during an underwater search by INS Makar. With this, all missing were accounted for, and in this tragedy, now 86 are declared dead. In Mumbai with Sunil Singh and camera person Praveer Rohit, Purva Chitnis for NDTV.
With that, we're slipping into a very short break. We'll be back with more news on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back. In a shocking incident from Assam, a 50-year-old man was lynched to death by villagers on suspicion of practicing witchcraft. Ratnadeep joins us with the very latest. Ratnadeep, what more can you tell us?
That's right. In fact, what we have picked up from police sources is that this 50-year-old man was lynched to death at Bagribari village near Kumarikata under Tamulpur subdivision of Baksa district of Assam. Now, when police force reached there after they got a tip-off that a man has been beaten up very badly, they found that the kangaroo court was, on, a meeting was on, and when police actually tried to, rescue the man because he was injured at that point of time, the villagers actually attacked the police and they also vandalized two police vehicles, after which police had to use force. They had to baton charge, and then this person was rescued. He was sent to the nearest hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. Now, 5 people have been detained in this case. In fact, the police claim that they were the main attackers. Now, this is yet another case of alleged witch hunting, which has been very prevalent in Assam. Although Assam has a very stringent anti-witch hunting law, but still this social menace still goes on in Assam.
Well, that's all we have time for from the entire team. Good night and thanks for watching.